Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Jesper Offers, and on this channel here we're talking about skincare, haircare and all those sort of things that are supposed to make you look good for a really long time. And today we are going to talk a little bit about an antioxidant. We're going to talk a bit about quercetin, and we have spoken about quercetin before, but now I have used quercetin for a little bit longer than last time I spoke about it. So last time was very much about scholarly articles and how sort of like the technical thing about how it actually works. So I thought I would tell you a little bit more about what I have noticed lately. And I have said before that I have a husband who has myotonic dystrophy, so dystrophia myotonica, and that is DM1, so the type 1, and that is the adult onset version, and that basically means that when you get to about 30 years of age, then it starts to show, and that is because both for people that have that genetic condition, and then for the rest of us, when we get to more than about 30 years of age, then our body is not building up anymore, and we have to be sort of like really careful with how we are treating our body. And particularly if you have that condition, then you definitely would like to make sure that you are treating your body in a really good way. So basically the thing is that genetic condition basically means that you don't produce that much protein, and thereby you're not producing that many enzymes in your body, and that means that as you sort of like get older, then you will lack those proteins and enzymes, and it will be much more so than it will be for the rest of us, because we are producing a lot more. So when you have this sort of like a genetic condition, then you're not producing enough protein and enzymes, and when you get more than to the age of 30, then it starts to show. So some of those things that we are doing for him is the same thing that I'm doing with myself, and that is basically because the things that we are doing are basically keeping our body as close as possible to when we were 30 years of age, or that is sort of like the aim. So the aim here is not to be sort of like 18 again or 17, because that is not possible. So it's more likely that if you're treating your body well, then you can say as close as possible to when you were about 30 years of age, and that means that you need to take a lot of supplements, so something like quercetin. And I've spoken about something like Q10 before, and I've shown you how we are taking that and why you should take it in that way and how much and that sort of thing. So lately that has definitely made a huge difference for him. And one of the things is that when you're taking quercetin, then also quite a difference will start to happen, and that is because Q10, that is an antioxidant, and quercetin is an antioxidant as well. But quercetin works in a little bit of a different way, and the main benefit of it is actually that it's not just an antioxidant, but basically is it stopping your body from producing or overproducing hydrogen peroxide. And hydrogen peroxide, that is something that the body is producing in order to stem the tide of madness from all sort of like intrusions from bacteria and sort of thing. So you would like to have some of it, but you don't want to have too much of it, and that is basically what happens when you get older. So when you are getting to the age of more than 30, then you start to get more hydrogen peroxide in your body and superoxide and that sort of things. So therefore it is very important to take something like a quercetin, because basically what happens is that you will stop the body from overproducing hydrogen peroxide in the first place. So you don't have to deal with it after it has been produced. You sort of like stem the tide of malice even before it has been produced. So that is really, really great. So what I wanted to say in this video here is that lately, in general, we are doing sort of like a moderate amount of exercise, and we're always trying to do a bit more and that sort of thing. So lately we have tried to sort of like ramp up a little bit on the exercise, and what we have seen from my husband is that his body is actually responding a lot better than before. So now I've been with my husband for more than 20 years, so I definitely know how his body is working, how his muscles are responding to all the things that we have done over the years. And definitely, yes, we have done a lot of good things, but lately I would definitely say that something like a Q10 and now quercetin, that is definitely something that you would like to look into if you have that sort of like a condition. And you would also like to look into it if you don't have that condition, just want to stay as young as possible for as long as possible. So basically what I'm taking of supplements and that sort of thing, he does the same thing. So what we have seen lately is that when we are using sort of like a bit of weightlifting, and we are doing some exercise, but I mean we're not running because he cannot run, not yet, but it starts to be walking faster and faster, and his balance seems to be better and better. and he seems that his muscles are responding a lot better to weightlifting. So we can now see that his muscles are actually starting to grow and are not just sort of like maintained. I mean, if you have seen someone who has a myotonic dystrophy, then it's sort of like a very classic look that they have a sunken in chest and their shoulders are a bit forward, and they have an open mouth and they have a droopy eyelids, and that is basically because their muscles are not working in the way that they should. And sort of like if you get older, that is sort of like the things that can happen. This was just happened quicker if you have that condition, but it also is sort of like it comes from the same point, as in as you get older you are having too much of breaking down of these proteins and enzymes are being produced in your body. It just happens a lot quicker if you have that sort of like a condition. So in sense of how to keep young for a long time, then basically you need to stem the tide of madness from hydrogen peroxide. And what happens is, as I said, is that if you have a quercetin, then you will actually stop the body from overproducing hydrogen peroxide. Can you stop the overproduction? I don't know. I just noticed that lately we have seen that my husband's body is basically responding a lot better to exercise. So both like for walking, and we basically are doing walking sort of like, if you can find a place where sort of like a level, in the sense that plain but uphill, if you understand what I mean. So sort of like you get the sort of like extra difficulties walking uphill, but just try to find a place where the path is sort of like even, so don't tumble and that sort of a thing. And I will say that it makes a huge difference. But the thing is that in the past, yes, we have done that for many years, and it's sort of like it keeps the body sort of stable. But lately with the quercetin and also Q10, then definitely we have seen that now his body is responding in a completely different way. So that is what obviously we will continue with, but also we would obviously continue looking into scholarly articles to see if there are other things that can be done. But definitely, because the whole issue with that condition is basically that for a technical detail as to how the genes are working, how proteins and enzymes are being produced in the body, then his body does simply not produce enough protein and enzymes, and particularly after the age of 30. So the thing is that what is being produced, you definitely don't want that to be oxidized, and there it is so that quercetin can go in sort of like indirectly stopping the body from overproducing hydrogen peroxide, and thereby stopping the oxidation that can be too rampant in the body, and does get worse and worse as you get older. But if you have that condition, definitely you need to be a lot more on it. And I would say that yes, there are other antioxidants and that sort of things that you can take, and that is really good and all that sort of thing. But it is just like there is a certain limit to how much vitamin C you can take and all that sort of thing. And I will say, for antioxidant activity, the only thing I would say I have really noticed a quite clear difference, which you can hear about in some of the other videos, that is with the Q10 taken in the way that I have described, and then now with the quercetin. Those two antioxidants, they work in a completely different way, a higher level than some other sort of antioxidants does, and they are like a Q10, that is something that is being produced in your body. But if you don't produce enough enzymes and proteins and all that sort of thing, then if you have that condition, then you don't produce enough Q10 in your body, and that really becomes a huge issue. So that is something that has been really beneficial. So if you have myotonic dystrophy, definitely I would say that I would look into Q10 taking the way I have described it. Now with the quercetin, I said in the previous video how much I was taking, or we were taking, and that was about a spoon of 5 milliliters. So this is sort of like thing. But what I've done lately is actually I have taken with a little bit of a top on it. So if you have a spoon that is 5 milliliter, then it is about 1 gram of quercetin. But usually when you are reading scholarly articles, it is said that you should take 500 milligrams twice a day. So basically I'm taking a scoop in the morning, a scoop in midday, and then I'm taking a scoop in the evening. So the one in midday, that is basically an extra one I have added since I did the last video. And when I say a 5 milliliter spoon in the morning, in the midday, and then in the evening. That is for a portion for 2 people. So what I'm talking about here is that I am taking, and my husband is taking, we are each taking 500 milligrams in the morning, 500 milligrams in the afternoon or midday or something like that, and then 500 milligrams in the evening. And definitely I would say that I've seen a positive result from that, because now we can definitely see that he can use his body in a different way. One of the other things is that when I say that a myotonic dystrophy patient usually has a sunken in chest and shoulders going forward and open mouth and droopy eyelids and that sort of thing, then definitely something like a quercetin has gone in and helped with that, in the sense that when you're not producing all the enzymes that you're supposed to produce and proteins and that sort of thing, then some of those signals in your brain doesn't work correctly. So what I have noticed is that later it seems like his brain is simply making better connections for his movements and that sort of thing. So it seems like before it was difficult to explain to him, well, just do like this with your muscle, just do this with your arm and that sort of thing. It's just like, well, it just didn't really know how to do it. But it seems now that we can more talk about how to do various things, and now he can actually do it, because it seems like his brain is connecting a lot better to his muscles. Now, this is obviously early days, but we are taking a lot of supplements, and I've done that for many years now. So obviously every time we add a little bit, we see a huge improvement. But if you're just taking quercetin and Q10 and you have a myotonic dystrophy, yes, you might see a progress, but it might not be as dramatic as what we have seen, because you're not taking all the other supplements that we are taking. So it is a little bit, you're building on top of something you have already been building on. But definitely it seems like with quercetin we get a lot more out of what we are already doing, and that is I would say down to that you're not having this overwhelmingly hydrogen peroxide production in your body, which will damage your protein, and it will damage your enzymes and that sort of thing, and that basically mean that you are not building up your body as well when you get older. So stem the tide of oxidation in the body, that is super important. And yes, I know there is a lot of other antioxidants and that sort of thing, but definitely I would say Q10 taken in the way that I've spoken about, and then quercetin, definitely that is worth looking into. So yes, if you'd like to see more of this sort of videos, please subscribe, hit the bell, and do all those things, and you do not be notified when I upload more of this sort of videos. Thank you for watching. See you. Bye.